welcome to Vallo Vision News. I'm Esclavon Pruitt.
And I'm Sydney Young. Thanks so much for watching. An intense manhunt is over, and a University of Virginia student who allegedly shot and killed 3 people and wounded 2 others late Sunday night has been caught. UVA was under a shelter-in-place order for about 12 hours as police scoured the campus for Christopher Darnell Jones, Jr. Chris Newen has the latest on the arrest and the victims.
Terror in Charlottesville as a deadly shooting Sunday night sent the University of Virginia into lockdown.
This is a sad, shocking, and tragic day for our UVA community.
A massive manhunt overnight as police searched for this man, UVA student and former football player Christopher Jones Jr., who's suspected of killing 3 schoolmates and injuring 2 others as they returned from a field trip to Washington, D.C. Officials say the shooter opened fire on a bus full of students in a parking garage on the UVA campus.
My heart is broken for the victims and their families and for all those who knew and loved them.
The UVA president identifying victims who died as Devin Chandler, a junior from Huntersville, North Carolina, Lavelle Davis Jr., a junior from Dorchester, South Carolina, and Deshaun Perry, a junior from Miami, Florida. All 3 were members of the UVA football team. UVA police say the suspect had been investigated by campus officials in September after someone reported him making a comment about owning a gun. By mid-Monday morning, Jones had been found away from campus and taken into custody.
We've secured arrest warrants for Mr. Jones. We've charged him with 3 counts of second-degree murder, and we charged him with 3 counts of using a handgun in the commission of a felony.
The suspect's motive unclear as students and the victims' families now try to make sense of this tragedy.
Please reach out to each other and lend each other an ear and a shoulder, even if virtually.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
The UMPD will offer civilian response to active shooter training this Thursday. The event will be held from 10 a.m. to noon or 3 to 5 p.m. in Formal Hall. The purpose is to provide strategies, guidance, and a plan for surviving an active shooter event. All faculty, students, and staff is encouraged but not required.
Last Tuesday's midterm elections left the Democratic Party with a big win, but some results from the election are yet to be determined. In-studio reporter Angel Saris has our story. Angel?
Tuesday's midterm election results have Democrats set to control the Senate for the next 2 years. Now all eyes are on who will gain control of the House, which is still up for grabs.
This is such a cause for a celebration.
A critical win for the Democratic Party. Masto defeated Republican counterpart in last week's midterm elections.
A huge red wave. It should have been one of the biggest red waves we've ever had because, the President Biden's approval rating was so low.
Democrats managed to hold at least 50 seats in the Senate, and the victory comes as a major boost for President Joe Biden. Now the question remains, who will control the House? So far, Democrats hold 204 seats to Republicans' 211. The number needed to control the lower chamber is 218 seats.
As I've said all along, it'd be perilously close. We can win it. Whether we're going to win it remains to be seen.
And we may not find out who wins the House for weeks. As the vote count continues in states with a large share of mail-in ballots. In Georgia, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker are facing off again in a runoff on December 6th, after neither candidate cleared the 50% threshold. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Angel Saris. Back to you.
The Department of Theater will present Punk Rock Girl in the Center for the Arts. Performances are scheduled for November 17th through the 19th, nightly at 7:30 p.m. There will be 2 daytime performances scheduled on Saturday, November 19th and Sunday, November 20th at 2 p.m. Tickets may be purchased online at montevellotickets.universitytickets.com. All ages are welcome. However, there is a trigger warning due to the flashing lights.
Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. Still ahead on Vallo Vision News, see how much Thanksgiving travelers could be paying for gas ahead of the holiday. We'll be right back.
Tesla has announced a voluntary recall due to its cars losing power steering. The recall involves the Model X cars and the Model S cars from 2017 to 2021. Some drivers have reported their electric cars losing power steering on bumpy roads or after hitting a pothole. The fix will now be included by downloading a software. No injuries have been reported in connection with the recall.
The national average price for a gallon of gas slid slightly ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. AAA said the price declined 3 cents in the past week to $3.77 a gallon. Even though the national average barely moved, there are now close to a dozen states with some stations selling gas below $3 a gallon. AAA said more gas stations could follow, which could be a big help with road trip budgeting for Thanksgiving travel. The national average of $3.77 is 13 cents less than a month ago and 36 cents more than it was a year ago. The original Black Panther debuted 4 years ago with a $202 million opening weekend. This weekend, the sequel hit theaters. But how did it measure up? Black Panther Wakanda Forever dominated the weekend, debuting with $180 million, the best November opening ever. In Hollywood, that $180 million was the second best opening weekend of the year, behind the $187.4 million debut of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness back in May.
Christmas tree has finally arrived. The 82-foot tall Norway spruce weighing 14 tons arrived Saturday morning from Queensboro, New York. The tree is estimated to be close to 90 years old, nearly as old as the Rockefeller Christmas tradition itself. It will be all dressed up in the holiday spirit for the official tree lighting ceremony on November the 30th. Remember, there's always more news from our team of reporters on our website. Visit vallovisionnews.wordpress.com to see more stories from the UM throughout the week.
That's all the time we have for today's show.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in again next week.